One of the most common questions I get from new coaches and consultants who are starting out and excited to build their own online business is, what should I sell? How do I price my first offer, my first coaching package, and what do I put in it? And that is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get the structure and the pricing out of the way first, because that's not what you should be spending your time on customizing actually for your audience. So the usual package that I recommend for the majority of new coaches and consultants is a 3-month package. Now, the reason I recommend 3 months, 90 days, is first of all, it's long enough to help your client get some sort of amazing result. It depends on what industry you're in terms of how big the results will be. But in 90 days, that's a lot of time to start seeing results so that your client is happy, you can build your confidence, you can help your client get the results that they are paying you for. On the flip side, it's also not too long, because you don't want to be working with your first client for 6 months or a year, because what if you don't like them? What if you realize that what you've delivered, you've bitten off more than you can chew? Or what if you realize that you've bitten off more than you can chew, or that you just don't like doing this in a certain way? You don't want to have to be on the hook for doing it for 6 months or a year or longer. And honestly, it's also harder to sell initially because your client also has to commit to that for 6 months or a year as well. And so for both of those reasons, 90 days is really the ideal time for you and for your client. Again, it's enough to get that result, to build your confidence, to get things going, but it's not so long that it's too much of a commitment for you or that client, or that it's just going to be potentially really overwhelming or scary. What you want to do within those 90 days is, when you're starting out, I recommend offering weekly calls. Over deliver, especially when you're starting out, because you're not optimizing to have the most efficient use of your time or the most efficient use of your profits in the beginning. You're going to get to that. There's a time and a place for that. But when you're starting out, you are also learning. You're not learning your craft, what you're coaching on, but you're learning to be a good coach. And so you have to realize that with your first few clients, they are also providing you with that experience as well. So you want to over deliver so that you can learn better, you can help your clients better, and create this amazing win-win situation. So you want to do weekly calls that are anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to make sure that you are holding you and your client accountable to making progress. In between, I do recommend that you offer some sort of support, whether that's email support, messenger, text, Voxer, whatever works for you. And the reason for that is because some clients will take advantage of that, but a lot of clients also won't. However, you want your clients to feel supported, that if they want to or they need your help, they can reach you as needed. That is key to having your clients feel like they're taken care of. And so that is the structure that I recommend. For pricing, go with something simple. Don't overthink it. You don't need to be doing a ton of testing on this initially. Go with a price of $1,500 for this package. And if you want to do a payment plan, offer $550 a month for the payment plan. And the reason I recommend this price, again, there are some exceptions. There are some industries where this might not apply, but for about 99.9% of the students and clients that I work with, this is perfect. And the reason for this is that when you're offering a coaching, a one-on-one package, there's a lot of value in that. You're providing personal support. We just laid out the structure so you can see how much support there is. And not only that, your client isn't just paying for your time. They're paying for the result that they're going to get through your help, through all that personal support that they're going to get. And so when you position it that way, that value is a good trade for them. So I really want you to remember that. Now, aside from that, the reason why that if you offer a payment plan, you want to increase the price by a little bit more is because when you offer a payment plan, it's increased convenience to your customer. But it's also added risk to you. You have to monitor the payments. You have to follow up with them if a payment doesn't go through. You have to wait longer to collect your payment. And so because of all of those reasons, it is standard to increase your payment plan price slightly between 10 to 20% above the pay in full price. So that is how you structure your pricing and your support. Those are things that you don't need to be worrying about or testing because those just establish a baseline. The rest of your time and energy should be actually focused on getting clients and then supporting them. So you don't want to be wasting time or energy on those things that you don't need to be doing. So let's talk about what you actually offer inside your 90 days, weekly calls of coaching. Here's the thing. You're actually not going to get perfect clarity until you've worked with at least your first 1 to 3 clients. I see this over and over because the truth is, you know what it is you're going to help someone with. You are going to lay out the theory. You're going to have these conceptions and ideas in your mind, but it's always going to be slightly different from when you're working with an actual human being and they have questions, they have thoughts, they have feelings that maybe you hadn't anticipated because that's how life goes. I'm sure you've experienced it. So what you want to do is instead of sitting down and creating a super detailed offer before you ever work with a client, all you want to do is identify, okay, what is the big end result that I'm going to help someone get over 90 days? And then how can I map it back to what 2 to 3 big benchmarks do we need to hit at the end of month 1, month 2, and month 3? Because you can notice that the way you're framing this, it's very results oriented because that's what your client cares about. They don't necessarily care about, all right, on this first call, we're going to talk about this. On this second call, it's more about, look, I'm going to help you. And the end result is what we're going to focus on. So for example, when I first started out in this business, what I would do for my first 90-day package is for the first month, I would focus on helping a client get clarity, where they were wanting to take their job skills and build their own online coaching or consulting business, but maybe didn't have an idea. The first month, we would be focused on getting clarity for their business idea, understanding their audience, knowing exactly what they could help people with and what language their audience was using. That was the number one goal for the first month. If we could get that done in the first month, then we would be golden, because that would allow us to move forward into the second month. So the second month, what it would be about, it would be building engagement. We would set benchmarks depending on where that person was for, hey, our goal is to have you engaging with this many people or to build your own community by this many people. So we would have very concrete benchmarks. And then on month 3, at the end of month 3, the goal would be to have at least 1 to 3 paying clients so that within 90 days, they would go from 0, no audience, no clarity, no business, no website, nothing, to having all of this in a very systematic way. And at the end of that 90 days, having that paying client or more than one paying client and having an actual real business. So you can see I broke it down, but I didn't necessarily know with my first few coaching clients in this business exactly what the details were going to look like. And it's true, it's been true for every single online business I've started. When I was doing digital advertising consulting, which was what I did back in my job, it was the same thing. And so for that, I would decide, all right, the first month we're going to set up your assets, your landing page, your ads, your all of those things. Then in month 2, we're going to test. We're going to establish some benchmarks, get that first result, whatever that looks like, whether that's a client, a course sale, whoever I was working with. And then in month 3, we're going to optimize. We're going to take the baseline metrics. We're going to figure out, can we make the ads better? Can we improve the lead cost per lead? Can we improve sales conversion rate, cost per sale? All of those things. So again, it was very targeted. And this applies no matter what industry that you're in. This is the same process I've helped over 1,000 of my clients in over 20 different industries follow to create their own coaching and consulting packages. So just try this for yourself and you'll see that it's going to work really, really beautifully. And so after that, that's all you need to go out there and explain to your clients, hey, this is what I'm going to help you with. Then this is what's going to happen. You, again, don't overthink it, because after talking to someone who eventually ends up becoming a client with you, you're going to know what they're struggling with, what their challenges are, what their problems are, what they want help with. And that's going to give you enough to know, all right, this is the high level month 1, month 2, month 3 results that we're going to get them. Then what you're going to do is, before your very first call with them, you are going to map out, whether that's writing an outline or a script, whatever works for you, exactly what you're going to cover on your first call. For me, when I was doing my digital consulting business, I literally wrote out every single word I was going to say before my first call, because I wanted to be super prepared and I was super nervous. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to make it easy on myself. So it took me 3 hours to prepare for a 1-hour call. You don't necessarily need to do that. Maybe if you work well with bullets and just having that outline to follow, that's enough for you. Everyone is a little bit different. I'm simply sharing that whatever it takes, that's what's going to help you. And then at the end of the first call, you are going to know exactly what it is that they need to work on to where they're going to be on the second call. So again, you can prepare for the second call in the same way that you prepared for the first call. And you're going to do the same for the third call, and so on and so forth. Now, this might feel like a lot of work initially, and for your first client it is, because remember, you have your experience in what it is that you're doing, but you're also completely new to coaching and working in your business. So this is something that's going to take a little bit of time to build up to. But the beauty of this is, after your first about 3 clients, you're going to start noticing patterns. You're going to realize, oh, on the first call, I always talk about this. People always ask about this on the second call. And by the third call, we're always covering this. And through the outlines that you'll have created, and also maybe you'll have put together questionnaires or quick worksheets or just material for your clients that you're going to be able to reuse moving forward, guess what? You have actually, through doing the work and getting paid, been paid to create the content for your coaching package as well. And so after about 3 clients, you're going to notice those patterns, and you're going to, by your 4th, 5th, or 6th client, it usually takes about 3 to 5 clients, you're going to be able to say, okay, I'm good. I know exactly what I'm going to help you through. I don't even need to prepare. Maybe you prepare for a little bit because every client is slightly different, but you don't need to spend an hour, 3 hours preparing. You maybe spend 10, 15 minutes preparing, and then that's it. Because you already have all the content, you know what's going to happen, and you've built up that knowledge in a very short amount of time, and you've been paid to build it. It's come from reality, from working with clients, so you know this process works. And that's how you craft your coaching package. Now, there is one last thing that I want to address, which is that when you are doing this the right way, as we just talked through, by about your 5th or 6th client, this should be a very efficient system for you. You shouldn't have to be spending a lot of time preparing for each client. You shouldn't have to be doing a lot of in-between follow-up or additional content creation. I was talking to someone just a few days ago who said to me, hey, I've been doing this, but it takes so much work for each client. Before each client call, I have to prepare for it. Then I have to take notes during the call, and then I have to wrap up the notes after the call and send it to them. And this is where, once you have established the baseline that we talked about, then you can improve these efficiencies. As I mentioned earlier, after about your first few clients, you shouldn't have to do that much preparation. You should know exactly, okay, this is what we're going to cover on the next call. These are the materials that I'm going to recommend to them based on all the materials I've created for my past clients. And then on the call itself, maybe you're taking notes, or you're having your client take notes, and you're not having to pretty it up or anything afterwards. It's after the call is done, they have the call notes, you know exactly what to do. Because remember, this isn't school, you're not their tutor, you're not their mother, you are their coach. You're absolutely going to hold yourself and your client accountable to helping them get amazing results, but you're not going to do it for them. They're a grown adult. And so treat them with that respect. That's going to help them be a better client and ultimately get better results as well. And so what that does is it cuts down your time. So all you're doing is that call. Maybe you're doing a little bit of support in between, but it's not going to be that time consuming. And that's what's going to allow you to be super efficient with working with the one-on-one clients that you have, so that you enjoy the work, it's not overwhelming, and you're not wasting a lot of time outside of that. After about your first 3 to 5 clients, that's when you can start customizing in a way that feels good to you, because at this point, you'll have a better understanding of yourself and how you work with clients, of your industry. You'll have more confidence. This is when it gets fun. You can decrease the number of calls that you offer over 90 days if it feels right. If you feel like a call a week is too much, maybe I do one call every 2 weeks, or maybe I do 2 calls a month. Whatever feels right to you. Or maybe you decide, my calls don't need to be an hour. We don't need to go over that much. Maybe they're 45 minutes. Of course, you can also change the length of your offer. If you decide, I loved doing the 90 days, but I want to do a 6-month one, or I want to do a year one, now you have a better understanding for what you like as well and how you work with your clients, so you can adjust that too. And finally, of course, price. If you're getting your clients results, they are loving the value, you are understanding your audience, you're building your social proof via these testimonials that, hey, I can help you, I'm legitimate. Guess what? This is when it's time to raise your price and have fun doing that as well. So that's where this customization comes in. And then of course, eventually what you'll be doing is moving into group programs and courses down the road, but this is where it starts. And that's how you create your first coaching package. So we just covered all of that for you so that you can go out there, you can take a few minutes to map this out, and then you can focus on getting clients. When you do, as you're building your business, there are 3 main metrics that you want to be focusing all of your time and attention on so that you're not wasting any time on things that don't matter to your business and don't get you results. And so if you want to know what those are so that you can be super efficient with your time, especially if you have a job and a family, so you don't have a lot of time to spend on your business, make sure you check out that video that I have for you right over here. You're going to love that video as well. So that's it for today. If you love this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be notified every week when I release a new tutorial on how to build your own online coaching and consulting and course business. And I will see you next time.